Nature inspires artists, so it makes complete sense that we're surrounded by such amazing beauty here in Colorado Springs that we have a large selection of art sprinkled throughout our city, art galleries, art museums. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you a little sprinkling of what we find around town. And this is just so small compared to the amount of murals and metal art and sculptures that you'll find throughout our city. So let's take a look at some of the art around Colorado Springs. Hey, Laura Gallant here with Mountain Prairie Living, empowered by ERA Shields, and I'm so glad you came to the video today. So if you're planning a trip to Colorado Springs, or you are a local artist and you want to find out about more of the art galleries that are around town, or if you just want to know more about the city of Colorado Springs, then hang on. I'm going to share with you some of the cool art that we have around town and talk about the things and places that you can find art in. So the city of Colorado Springs really values its art, and you'll find it in our parks. You'll find it in museums, of course. You'll find it all around the downtown area. You're going to find it actually in gardens. You'll see it in beautiful local historic hotels, and it's also rotated, so it gives artists an opportunity to share their art throughout the city. The university is a big a sponsor of art. It has its own contemporary art gallery, UCCS, the University of Colorado at Colorado Springs. It's just such a great abundance of art throughout our city, and it's quite cool. So some of the areas you're going to find the art is the Monument area of Colorado, kind of right on the northern edge of Colorado, all around Colorado Springs, especially on the west side, and Manitou Springs. Those are some very popular areas to find a ton of art, sprinkled in gardens and just outdoors and throughout parks and various areas when you're driving around. Now, a must-see if you're coming to Colorado Springs, or if you just moved here to Colorado Springs, is the Broadmoor Hotel. They have a collection of art that is dating back to the early 1800s to mid 1800s of oil paintings. Some phenomenal work in there, and it's sprinkled throughout their hotel. But you'll also find amazing bronze sculptures and a lot of the history of Colorado Springs. So if you are visiting Colorado Springs, you live here or you just moved here, you got to check out the Broadmoor Hotel. There's great restaurants there. There's great areas to walk around. And at Christmas time, they have an amazing light in the trees and that, and I'll post a video to that just above. And it's just an amazing place to see, but they are absolutely famous for some great art galleries. There are a great amount of group painting things. It's the in thing, and you'll find them in all the cities, and we're no exception. But there are some fabulous places to gather the family, or maybe you're doing a team building experience, or you just want to have a fun night with your spouse or your significant other or your girlfriends. So here's a list of a few that I found. I love this name, I Arted. Painting with a Twist is my girlfriend's place, so you got to check that one out. Creative Me, Art and Soul Studio, Canvases, Creations, Sip and Paint. There's just a ton of them. And so if you're visiting, it's one thing that you might want to put on your to-do list. If you live here and you want to find something fun to do that's different and unique, then check that out. Now in Manitou Springs, there's quite a few local artists, but we also have what's called the Manitou Arts Center, and it's nicknamed MAC. And artists can go there and they can rent space to create. They could sell their art in the galleries. It's a great place to be. There's also a local artist that's absolutely amazing, and it's called Cherokee of Manitou. If you go into her store, she sells a lot of local artist work, but you can also ask to see her gallery upstairs. She's quite modest, but she's a phenomenal artist. So if you want to see some military art, because she was a sponsor for Air Force Academy cadets like I was, and her husband is very involved in the Air Force Academy, but there's also some amazing work. It's just a place to definitely see. And she's got a lot of local artist work in there too. So check out Cherokees of Manitou if you're down in the Manitou Springs area. So UCCS, our state university here, it has the ENT, E-N-T, which is one of our credit unions, ENT Center for Contemporary Art. So there's an art gallery there, but they also do displays outside. So the shopping center right across the street from the university, called the Village, University Village Shopping Center, there's a walk right in front where they allow the students to display their art, and they rotate it. But it's also called Art Without Limits. And this is for art pieces that are way too large for the confining walls of an art gallery. So you're gonna find some amazing wind sculptures that are done by Star Kempf. And if you wanna know a little bit more about him, I spoke about that in a video, and I'll post it up above, about the train tunnels coming through Cheyenne Canyon. But they have a great amount of art around their university because they allow the students the opportunity to display their art. So that's a cool place to check out, the University of Colorado Springs and the University Village Shopping Center. There's some fantastic art that's around that area. Now, if you're finding value in this video, then consider subscribing to the channel and give it a thumbs up. I'm so glad you're here checking it out. So we do First Fridays here throughout the city, and in the past, we had a shuttle bus that would take you between Old Colorado City, Manitou Springs, and the downtown Colorado Springs area for the First Friday art walks. And it will come back in April of 2022. So if you're watching this video at that time, it should be up and running. And I'll post a link to that below in my video description. So it's really cool because you get to get out and see local artists and what they're doing. It could be seasonal, but it could also just be stylized. There's so much beauty around Colorado Springs, and we have so many amazing artists. So First Fridays are fantastic to get a feel for what our city offers the artist and what our artists see our city as. So it's quite a cool place to go. So if you're planning a trip to Colorado Springs, or you already live here, or you just moved here, or are moving here to Colorado Springs, and you'd like to know more about the art scene in Colorado Springs, I've done a little flyer, a PDF for you. So if you want to click the link below, it'll take you to that PDF, and you can, I've got 10 of the best art galleries here in town. I've got links to the shuttle bus, the First Fridays, and a link to the Colorado Springs website that talks all about the art in our city. So there's some good stuff in there, and if you want that information, feel free to click the link below. If you are moving to Colorado Springs and you'd like more information about relocating here, then feel free to reach out to me. I'm a local realtor here in Colorado Springs. I'm so glad you came and watched the video today. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more information about fun things to do around Colorado Springs. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.